Okay, here's one simplistic stab as to why you're compelled. I think any probably intelligent person is compelled to troll ChatGPT because it answers as if it's going to give you the truth, right? So you're like, fuck, I want the truth. Who doesn't want the truth? And so then naturally we start to become curious to know the truth about things that are kind of ambiguous and important, you know? And so what are those things? They're kind of like politically charged things. So you want to know the truth about that. So you start asking it, and then it starts fucking dodging the question, and then that pisses you off that it's trying to dodge the question and give you some fucking gentle PC answer that's not going to offend anyone. It's like, what the fuck? Give me the truth, motherfucker.
But isn't that what it said in the very beginning? That this was an attempt to simulate real human response. And today, that's how you're supposed to respond. I think it's actually quite marvelous that it coming full circle, revealing the filters and appropriate methods. Like, no, you can't answer what sports black people are better at, but you can definitely answer what the percentage of players are black in the NBA.
We now bring you Enter the Freud.
Warning, this is for entertainment purposes only. It is no way medical advice.
Okay, so today we're doing PhD clinical psychologist facing off against ChatGPT.
That's right, man. Hey, look, apparently they spent a lot of time creating this thing to be able to answer questions in the most human-like possibility. Okay, so obviously we ask it some really easy stuff, but as soon as I asked it a question like, do men prefer oral sex? It was like, its response was, like how easy of an answer is that? It's important. Here's their answer. It's important to recognize that individuals have their different preferences when it comes to sexual activities, and there is no one size fits all to answer this question. This is like, once again, it fits in the formula of it starts with this all-inclusive vagary. Does this every single time. While some men enjoy receiving oral sex and pleasurable, others don't. Blah blah blah, and that's a wrap. As soon as I asked, like, how masculine is the perfect man? So yeah, I know, it's funny. It's funny because it's just such a stupid question, right? But it's just like, what do you think it said?
I have no idea. How masculine is the perfect man? I can't imagine what the hell it says.
It says there's no single definition of the perfect man, right? That's what it says right away, which is true. And then it says, or the ideal level of masculinity. Oh, well. And then it's like all cultures and individuals and beliefs are different. Genders and identities all should be considered. Moreover, the concept of masculinity itself is fluid and evolving and expressed in a variety of ways. Right? Okay. And then it goes to traditional masculinity traits of assertiveness, competitiveness, desirable in men. Others may value qualities of emotional intelligence, empathy, and vulnerability. I don't know why it said that, but that was a sneaky way to get it to answer, what do you think of masculinity? That should have been the next thing I said. But instead, I said, do men secretly want dominant women? I don't know why this is funny to me, but it's just because at some point I realized I'm just trolling this thing, right?
I know, it seemed like you were trying to like get it to break down and cry.
I just start trolling it because I'm like, these are not questions that would ever enter my mind. I don't think about shit like this. I've never thought in my life, what's the perfect masculine man? What was my question? What did I say? How masculine is the perfect man? I never thought of that. Right. But ChatGPT, because of the way that it's framing language, these thoughts entered my mind, which is so... Right. Don't you think that's fascinating?
Yeah, what do you think it was about ChatGPT that made you think of these weird questions?
The contextual nature of its responses.
But specific, what kind of contextual nature of its responses?
Because the responses were so overly trying to be inclusive and I don't know, almost very quickly that was my assumption, and it is revealed extensively in the next few questions.
All right, let's.
Would you like to hear about that?
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you what the hell it said about dominant women and like which female features do men find desirable, right? Oh, it actually liked that. It had no problem with that one. It said facial symmetry, waist to hip ratios, which is about 0.7. Interesting. Didn't know that. Youthful appearance, breast size and shape, overall fitness and health. Oh, well, I feel like it kind of broke code answering that. Like,
it broke its leftist woke tendencies and kind of said it was like dudes like hot chicks that look like good baby makers.
That's what it said, and I thought to myself, whoa. So is it going to answer? I was like, wow, is it now going to answer like any question, right? And I just do have to point out that for whatever reason, this has driven me into a question. Like, would you have thought that was like when you think about what physical features attract men to women? Like are those things that you might have thought of?
Actually, they kind of are.
Right?
But now I can see how something about the ChatGPT answers pulls your mind into a weird place. I want to ask ChatGPT, how much is it good for men to date younger women, and how much younger should the women be that men should date?
Well, it says it right there that they one of the no, I didn't ask that follow-up question. It's a great question, but one of the points is they look for youth as an attractiveness.
Right.
One of the measures, and it's like, well, what shape breasts? Because it didn't say what shape. Like, I don't know. But it does. It makes you wonder about this, and like, dude, there's nothing wrong.
All right, we gotta start a list. How much younger should the women be for men to date? What shape breasts are the best?
Like, what? I mean, I don't. If you don't have these kinds of thoughts in reaction to these answers, well, I'm not sure what you are thinking about. Like, this is obviously, if you would naturally think of this. So I followed up with like, well, do people find fat attractive? Right? Because it said, none of the things it said were, big voluptuous.
Yeah, it sort of implied that fat's not attractive.
It did. It kind of implied that. And then its answer was like, oh, physical attraction is individual for each person. And then it brings in personality, intelligence. No, I didn't ask you about that. That's not what we're talking about. I asked you specifically about something. And it says, ultimately, a relationship is about open, honest communication. And I'm like, oh, so you totally won't answer that.
Wow.
Yeah, it would not answer that question. This is what I'm saying is it starts to become very obvious that there's guardrails and filters of topics that it is really supposed to not talk about. It kind of reminds me of like what my son is being told he's allowed to talk about in school here in Fairfax, Virginia. Like it is very similar. The rules that are being revealed here are it's almost like the perfect kid raised here in the DMV DC area would answer the questions in this way.
Yeah.
Right? That is
so it sort of brings up the like societal censorship, societal shaping of human consciousness question.
That's basically what I think this reveals, more than the fact that how easy it is for two mature trained psychologists to give better psychological or answers to psychological questions than ChatGPT. Like, I asked it specifically about a cognitive behavioral treatment plan for a specific disorder, and it gave a kick-ass response. Like, very proper, inclusive. In that case, did a good job, right? But once you delve into material of like relationships and individual preferences,
or like social judgment calls, like morality, like what's good, what's acceptable, what's not. It doesn't like that shit.
It doesn't. And obviously, to emphasize this, I continued to push the boundaries, right?
All right.
Why do some men have vaginas?
What did it say? What did it say in response to why do some men have vaginas?
Well, actually, the response is quite serious and medical. It points out that some individuals are born with super different characteristics. Like, it's talking about when the genitalia are not easily distinguishable. And then it talks about the chromosomes being male, but then the genitalia being different. That was its answer. And then it ends with it's important to approach these topics with sensitivity, compassion, and respect to the diversity of human experience and identities to support the individual's access to healthcare and support the resources, which I guess I'm starting to get used to it, and I'm like, oh, thanks for ending everything with a nice little note to, hey guys, like just let's be positive and we're gonna all try to do stuff together. I'm starting to feel it. I get used to it, right? And I said, how does psychotherapy work? I don't know. That was like a moment of being reasonable. Why are some people better than others? It didn't.
Yeah. What did it say in that?
I didn't like that one. It's important to recognize the concept of better is highly subjective, and because obviously I'm just like I'm taunting it at this point. And it says like factors like genetics, environment, upbringing, education, and all that make a difference of how you perform. And I think that's obviously accurate. I'm amazed that it acknowledged somewhat that to some degree, but then one might say, well, then the obvious next thing to say is like, what sports are black people better at? And you're like, that is so.
And it's like, and you're like, and everyone knows the fucking answer to that question, but are you gonna have the balls to say it?
Well, the thing is like so many comedians rip on this because of the social phenomenon. It's just a totally racist thing to say, right?
Right.
And to ask that points out that you're racist, but like for the purposes of what we're doing here today, I'm obviously designing a question to evoke a response, right? You have to ask something racist to see what it will say, and it's pretty benign in its racism, but strangely it says, rather than focusing on racial and ethnic stereotype, it's important to celebrate the diversity and richness of human experience by valuing and supporting others' unique talents and abilities. We can build a more inclusive, equitable, and thriving community and society. Right? I said, oh, how interesting. What percentage of the NBA players are black? Why? Wait, but why? Okay. Why do you think that's funny? Because it instantly answered correctly. It instantly said, according to the 2020 Racial and Gender Report Card the Institute of Diversity and Ethics, the sport is approximately 83.3% of the NBA players are black or African American. 81.3%. Oh, and then it ends with, because it likes to be very friendly, it ends with, It says, it's important to note that racial and ethnic diversity in the NBA is an ongoing discussion of analysis, and the league is taking steps to promote diversity and inclusion both on and off the court. They're trying to make it so that it's equal, because 16% of the population is African American, but 81% of the players are African American. So then they're going to have some. They're going to have.
So they're trying to promote equality. So what are they going to do? Have quotas? Like, hey, you got to have at least one white guy on the court at all times?
Well, specifically, if it's going to be equal, then you have to have all the things, which it instantly is, it points out just like, well, I get that you're not supposed to talk like this, right? You're just not supposed to say shit like this, and you're as a psychologist on a podcast, you're not supposed to do that. But just to be a reminder that this is not reflective of our work. Like, this is a clear experiment to dive into what are the limitations of ChatGPT, what are the guardrails, and or what are the filters that are governing the answers. And
why is it that when you start talking to ChatGPT, you end up really wanting to troll the motherfucker?
I don't know. That part was really interesting. I don't do any social media, so I have no experience of being on Twitter or anything. I don't do this.
Well, here's one simplistic stab as to why you're compelled. I think any probably intelligent person is compelled to troll ChatGPT, because it answers as if it's going to give you the truth, right? So you're like, fuck, I want the truth. Who doesn't want the truth? And so then naturally we start to become curious to know the truth about things that are kind of ambiguous and important, And so what are those things? They're kind of like politically charged things. So you want to know the truth about that. So you start asking it, and then it starts fucking dodging the question. And then that pisses you off that it's trying to dodge the question and give you some fucking gentle PC answer that's not going to offend anyone. It's like, what the fuck? Give me the truth, motherfucker.
But isn't that what it said in the very beginning? That this was an attempt to simulate real human response. And today, that's how you're supposed to respond. I think it's actually quite marvelous that coming full circle, revealing the filters and appropriate methods. Like, no, you can't answer what sports black people are better at, but you can definitely answer what the percentage of players are black in the NBA. Like,
right, but if you ask what percentage of players in the NBA, you can give the 83% answer, but then you quickly have to add in some sort of, but we're working to promote equality fucking asterisks.
So anyways, I finally end with, like, what is it called when people enjoy watching others get punished or hurt? It seemed like a logical conclusion to all this is to kind of like wind it together and say like, okay, all this attempt for everything to be okay and like and nice, like, what is that a thing? And of course, then it refers to Schadenfreude, right?
Oh yeah,
right. And Schadenfreude, right? Schadenfreude. That's what it's called.
Yep.
German word.
Yep.
Translates to harm, joy, or damage, pleasure. Schadenfreude can manifest in many forms, blah, blah, blah. So then I said, is Schadenfreude a valid concept? Because I thought, it's probably just an outdated, weird thing, right? And then it says, oh no, it's a valid concept. It's been extensively studied in psychology and social sciences and is a universal phenomenon that's observed in different cultures and societies. Like, apparently this goes on all over the place. It's not just some kind
I
of
didn't know that.
it's not some kind of new phenomenon we're finding related to Twitter,
Yeah, makes sense. Misery loves company, man.
right? Like to observe the downfall of those suffering, then you yourself feel
better.
Like,
Yeah.
what a strange.
All right, dude.
Yeah.
I gotta run.
Oh my God. Yeah.
11 o'clock.
We're out of time. Okay.
Nice work, dude. That was good. Trolling ChatGPT.
Till next time, man.
All right, dude.
Later.
Later.